The fifth principle that I want to talk about today is acceptance. Now, when we are thoughtful about our values, and our values are on our minds, and we understand that our own histories are the context for the way we experience the world around us, it's easy to accept difficult thoughts and difficult emotions. And I don't mean we just lay down and let them happen. What I mean is we can come to an understanding that difficult thoughts and difficult emotions can sometimes actually be the thing that's moving us towards our values. We do a lot of hiking and running, and often my wife will say, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sore." And generally my first reaction is good. Now, she may not like that a lot. But if we're working towards being people that hike and people that are exercise or are active, the difficulty, the pain of soreness is actually a really, really good sign. It indicates that we are moving towards our values. Regardless of how many miles you hike, you can be sore. I often tell that to people that are first starting running or hiking, that it doesn't matter, that being sore is very good. And if you're not sore, you're not trying. So we don't want to injure ourselves. And some of you may be at a point of injury emotionally. We can get help, but it's important to recognize that typical difficulty is often something that moves us towards what we want in life. Acceptance is the ability to oh my gosh, there was a huge rock slide right over there. That was so cool. It genuinely happened. I'm not trying to put this in the video, but nature is full of things that break, right? A big section of rock just broke off that cliff and rolled down the hill, and I wish you could have seen and heard it. Our own bodies and minds break a little bit. When we're sore, it's our muscles breaking down. And if we give ourselves time to rest, they can heal and be stronger in the future. Living with acceptance means that we're willing to undergo difficult things in order to move towards our values. When we actually identify those values, when we actually can identify and accept those difficult emotions, what that does for us is it helps us understand that sometimes ideal conditions are the worst conditions. This is a wonderful lake out here called Utah Lake. I had the opportunity a couple weeks ago to run across that lake when it was frozen. It was a beautiful, wonderful experience. It only happens a couple times a year that it's solid enough to do that. Now, the ideal conditions to do that were the worst conditions. It was maybe 14 degrees outside. It was dark, it was cold, it was slippery. But that is the only time that I could have that wonderful experience. So again, it's important to realize with acceptance that sometimes the worst situations are the best situations. And that if we can accept our emotions and accept our thoughts without having them control us and without trying to control them, it can move us towards what we value in life. For your homework today, I want you to write down 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5 difficult things that you are willing to endure or willing to go through, and go through sometimes with a smile because you know that they move you towards your value. So take a minute, write down a handful of different things that you are willing to go through because you know that it will move you towards being the person that you want to be.